Welcome.
Benvenuti, bienvenidos, hoş geldiniz.
مرحبا.
Willkommen.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Allie Kensington, and we're going to be talking how to make grammar memorable. Well, I'm going to be talking about the things you already do in your classes, but how to extend them. Apart from them, some of different strategies I'm going to be introducing, and we're going to be doing some well, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting around 300 participants, so we won't be able to do hands-on activities, but I will be giving you a lot of hands-on activity ideas, and on top of everything, I will be giving you some tips how to do distance learning activities. All right, let's get started. Now, I want to start off with something that I value a lot. I love this quote. Grammar is not a set of rules. It is something inherited in the language, and language cannot exist without it. It can be discovered, but not invented. So true, so true. You know what I always say about grammar? Grammar is the glue of the language. Well, it brings everything together. Of course, vocabulary is important. Of course, skills are important, but grammar is the glue of the language. And I love the last part. It can be discovered, but not be invented. So true. While we're talking about being discovered, actually, we can discover different ways to teach it. We can discover different ways of doing things. But one of the most important things I always say is we need what our students need the most first. Normally, I was going to do a little Minty Meter activity with you. Instead of that, I just want you to contemplate for half a minute, just half a minute. I bet you have pencils and pens and paper beside you. And I just want you to make a mini list of what do your students find hard about learning grammar. Just make a mini list. Normally, we were going to do a word cloud, but as I said, I wasn't expecting 300 people. I don't think the program could have been taking it as well. So we're going to be doing some self-checking as well. Please write down, what do your students find hard about learning grammar? I'm just going to give you half a minute. I can hear you saying, Allie, we don't need to even write. We know it so well. So I'm going to be sharing some of my experience throughout the years. As Bridget mentioned, I taught more than 17 years from university to kindergarten. In every level, we were implementing, that was a nice one. Learning the terms by heart. Sweet. Thank you so much. I love the answers, by the way, prepositions and everything. Exactly. I mean, but the worst thing, I'm going to be frank with you. I like to speak my mind and my experience. What I saw was students find it boring. When it comes to grammar, they say, oh, come on, are we going to learn this? Especially even the simplest things. In the beginning, the simplest things look so hard because that's the first time they are being introduced to. So eventually they go like, oh, this is boring. I hate the teacher. I hate grammar. I hate this and that. And on top of everything, you know what happens? You teach them something, next morning, it's not there. I'm just talking about my experience. I bet you have different experience with your students or have this different experience with your students, but that was the thing I had. They were like, I was asking them next day something and it wasn't there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to reteach it. Because I've always trusted the way I was teaching grammar, because I also did some research and study groups, even with Down syndrome kids. And it's obvious that I could have teach grammar to them, but when it came to my students, they were reacting the same way. They didn't remember anything next day. So that was some of these were the stuff that we were suffering from. I bet you were suffering from some of them as well. So how to overcome this problem? Let's take a look at it. Okay, how to overcome difficulties. It's easy. It's easy. We're going to be doing a lot of things together today. All right, number one, clear explanations. You're going to be saying, come on, Allie, we're already giving them clear explanations. What else can we do? Just wait. And one of the, again, most important things in my list is transferring the information into long-term memory. So if we can do this, next morning we won't be having students saying, I don't remember, or I don't know how to use it. Another thing which I value a lot is the real life context. Now, I know that you're doing great stuff because, okay, I wasn't going to say that, but I studied in Germany for 2 years at university. And I love the education system. It's speechless good. The discipline, the self-discipline and everything. I love the education system in Germany. But, but, I'm just saying, um, we need to implement real life context more and more because students have to know, or let's say we need to lead them to see where to use and how to use it in their lives. Some of the biggest problems that we're facing all around the world, it's not Germany, it's not this country or that country, all around the world. You know what happens? Sometimes we're carried out with the activities or the stuff that we have in the book. Of course, they're essential. We're going to be talking about everything, as I said. Of course, they're essential. But one of the most important things, we need to create real life context so they see how and where to use grammar. Another problem, we don't get them to personalize grammar, personalization. They need to own it. They need to, let's say, internalize it. They need to use examples or do things that they can personalize this language or the grammar. Another thing, success-oriented activities. Now, I like to be frank. I'm going to be frank again. I used to love challenging my students. I used to love it. I've tried so many things to challenge them. They used to challenge me as well. I used to bring activities, just like forcing them to go higher and higher. But one day, you know what I realized? I said, wait a second. If I was in my student's situation or their shoes, how would I feel? And I mean, I was lucky because my students didn't end up saying, I hate English and I hate grammar, but I've learned something through this let's say trip, this path, that the more they can, the more they see that they can do stuff, the more they can give a pat on the shoulder, the more they're engaged. And meaning, um, I'm not saying give them easy activities. I'm just saying give the activities in the very beginning that they can feel or they feel that they can do it. Of course, another thing, knowing students' level and differentiation, which you exactly know. That's the reason you might find some of the activities that I'm going to be doing today a little simple or a little easy or maybe a little difficult, but you know your students' differentiation, you know their level. So you can tweak every kind of activity that you see today according to your students' level and differentiation. And the last element, the most important element, I always say that you cannot see, maybe you partially see it, fun. Fun. I mean, this is the reality of life. You can't bear to do something boring for a very long time. You need to have fun to, to be engaged, to understand, to go really depth in something. You really need to have fun and enjoy it. All right, moving on. Um, Okay, as I said before, this is something that you already do in your classes, PPP. I know it sounds really funny, PPP, but we do PPP a lot in our classes. Now, let's take a look. I know that you know what is PPP. Just to refresh our memories, we're just going to go through the explanations, okay? Um, Presentation, the first step. In this phase, the teacher highly controls the teaching and learning process. The materials in this phase contain all the targeted linguistic items and structure or structures in the unit. This presentation can take a deductive or inductive model. Now, as I said, I was so confident about teaching grammar that I sometimes didn't want to use a book or a guidance. And I was like, I'm great. I know my thing. But one day, what I figured out was no, nobody's great. Nobody's perfect. You need a guide. You need something that can remind you something that you're missing as well. So finding the right material and finding the right guide is always it's always an upper hand in your life and makes life easy. All right, so this is an example from Grammar in Use, and which we're going to be going into depth. I'm not going to be talking about the book, but I'm just going to take some bits and pieces so you'll see where and how am I using this stuff as well. Okay, the next step, practice. As you can all know, These activities are aimed at achieving accuracy of forms so that fluency can be later achieved in production activities. Now, that is my key point. It's very important that we have clear explanations. Without that, grammar teaching is not going to happen. Then practice, which is very, very important. Number one, for students to develop their pencil skills, they know and they practice the structure, the form, which is very important. But what about the, let's say, the production level? That is my crucial point. Okay, I'm just going to go on with the explanation, the description of them. The activities are aimed at achieving the linguistic target presented in the initial presentation phase, following the models to which the learners must adjust. So you see what I mean? There is a great cumulative pancake system, I call it. First, we have to do the presentation, which you already do. And then we have the practice. You have a lot of activities that you can do in the classroom. And the last one, the most important thing, production, which I call it the use of the language. This is the part where students really start using the language. The first two phases, presentation, we're controlling it, or you can give them a task. You can say, I want you to go and study this part of the book. Go get them to do that. You can do flip classroom. You can do, you want them to study it, and maybe you're going to be talking about it in the classroom still. Then what do we have? We have the practice, another very important stage. But the whole learning system should not stop with only presentation and practice. It should be ending with production, where language is seriously used. Okay, I'm just going to read it out loud very fast, and then we're going to jump into the fun bit. Production stage, which aims at increasing fluency in linguistic use precisely through autonomous and more creative activities. The strategies for achieving such a goal are based on freer use of the target structure. What do we know? Presentation is not a free use, or let's say practice. They're both controlled, very well controlled activities or learning styles. But when we come to production, it's freer. The kind of activities in this production stage may include discussions, debates, role plays, problem solving activities, opinion, and information gaps. Okay, fantastic. We got that as well. Now, one of the things, again, I need to emphasize is, which I very much enjoy and like. Now, this is one of the things that I will be sharing with you. Tell me, and I forget, which was the thing I was suffering with my students. Teach me, and I remember. Involve me, and I learn. So what we have to do is, the stagings that we do is perfect, but the last part should be more extended. I can hear you saying, Ellie, we're already doing that. Okay, fantastic. That means that we're all in the same path and the right route. Okay, these are the 3 stages. Moving on. Now, I want you to, again, to contemplate for a half a minute and just think. What do students need to remember about grammar? What do they need to remember about grammar? Just half a minute, just think about it. What do they have to remember about grammar? What do they have to remember about grammar? Should they be remembering this or that? What should they be remembering? Okay, I think you've already got your answers. I'm revealing mine. Meaning, pronunciation, form. Today we're going to be focusing on meaning and form. Oopsie daisy, no, we're not going over there. We're going to be focusing on meaning and form, not pronunciation, because that is a different chapter. So, when we come to meaning, this is a mental image or comprehension that is generated by the grammar or vocabulary. Students connect the grammar structure with the meaning. Chris Cotter says that. Okay, talking about, let's take a look at the example. We're talking about meaning. I'm playing tennis. Could refer to present, an action occurring as I speak. What about the future appointment? If somebody's asking you, what are you going to do next week? You say, I'm playing tennis. That's my future appointment. Or even the past, as in, I lost my job last month, so I'm playing a lot of tennis. Okay, we got this part. But how are our students going to differentiate? Now, that is the big problem. That is the big, let's say, there's a confusion. That's the part where everybody gets confused. What am I going to refer to? What am I going to do now? Okay, okay. Now, the book is clearly explaining what is happening. The meaning, it's everything is over there. But my personal opinion over here, if you're going to get your students to do self-study or if you're going to introduce it in your class, just add a teeny tiny note over here, creating context. Like, think about it. You're going to explain this in the classroom. You got the perfect example, and what you do is on the phone. I was wondering, where's Sarah? Oh, Sarah is in her car. I'm talking to her on the phone. She is on her way to work. She's driving to work. Yeah, she's coming. You see what I'm? Create that. Create that real moment so your students really understand which time frame are you talking about? Are you talking about the future? Are you talking about right now? Or are you talking about something referred in the past? So they have to really, by our guidance, they really have to understand what's happening. Apart from that, talking about meaning. Now, this is one of the activities. We were talking about the production part, by the way. You've done the introduction, you talked about the meaning, you presented the idea, students have done the practice, and okay, it's time for our students to really be vocal, some production. Now, I know that we're in the distance learning period and life is a little tougher. Lockdowns and everything. Life is not easy. Teaching is not easy. This is a method that I used to use when I was learning a new language. I even gave this advice to my students. I used to say, talk to yourself in the mirror. Honestly, talk to yourself. It works like a charm. I used to say, create some cases in your mind. If you were in a shop, if you were in a restaurant, if you're hungry, how are you going to order food? More like a survival replication kind of an approach. I used to ask them, have you tried that? And I mean, most of the time, the outcomes were amazing for my students. Now, why don't we use this to our advantage? Okay, mirror talk, or let's say monologue. I would be saying, give them a case. Over here, I use the material like Cambridge material. It says, customer, decide what you are buying and who is it for. Use the ideas below or use your own ideas. Same mentality. Okay, so I picked the first one. If I was the student, the blue girl over here, as you can see, I would be going like, I would be having a monologue, something new to wear to a party. You're gonna go and buy something new to wear at a party. So I would be going like, oopsie daisy, yeah. Hello, hi. I'm looking for a black dress. Are you looking for a long or short dress? I'm looking for a long one. Think about it. If you just do this constantly in your mind, if you're just playing this game, you're not going to be called a schizophrenia. No worries about it. You're not schizo, but you're practicing the language deep down, actually. And it's a very important activity. Now, you're going to be saying, Allie, where should we know our students are doing this activity? Nice question. I would be saying, why don't you ask your students to record it themselves and send it to you? So this way, actually, you will be assessing them if they're doing the right thing, if they're using the right grammar structure at the right place. You see what I mean? Ask them. Just give them a task. Say, I want you to create a monologue. Or what they can do is they can arrange a Zoom meeting or an Adobe meeting. 2 or 3 students can come together without writing it down. Spontaneously act it out, record it and send it to you. That way life is going to be so easy. Number one, you don't need to give a test to your students if they understand it right or wrong. You don't need to do a speaking exam in the classroom or an oral test in the classroom. And the third one, you're using the distance learning to your advantage. They just need to act it out. They can just put a mustache or a hat and play the monologue, or they can come together and they can act it out without writing it back, without writing anywhere, spontaneously. they can just like shoot the video and send it to you. And this way you can just take a look and see if they're using the right grammar structure. We're not talking about the vocabulary, just the grammar structure. A nice assessment tool. All right. Why did I do this activity? Now, it's a simple visualization activity, but there's a huge impact. Impact of visualization on learning. Visualization will become one of the most powerful, effective, and necessary tools for teachers in the years to come. Harnessing the inner space will I always have this problem, revolutionize teaching and learning. We must use it as an essential and basic teaching skill. Why not using to our advantage, which we're going to be doing another visualization activity from Jane Arnold. Okay, another thing, I very much like this quote as well. Visualization will open up the potential inner source of every learner's unique experience and creativity. The free mind of imagination with mental images will make learning more exciting and more personalized. So let them use this powerful tool, and as a result they can record it and send it to you. So while they're visualizing something, while just like kind of using the mind's eye, we call it, why not? And this way, the more they create cases in their minds, the better the language becomes internalized. Moving on. Okay, oopsie daisy. All right. Another thing that I always say, especially in the 21st century, and we're believing that we're creating the 21st century citizens, why not use it to our advantage? Problem solving, mini presentations. Ask your students to do mini presentations, which is something like that. How are lockdowns affecting people? Very up to date, very real life context. By doing that, students are using critical thinking, creativity, because they have to come up with different ideas as well, collaboration. And you're going to be saying, wait a second, Allie, how are they going to collaborate while we're doing the distance learning? Oh, okay. That's the moment that I should be saying nice ideas or giving out nice ideas. Okay, what I would be saying is, you can get your students to record a presentation and send it to you. That's number one. Number two, if you're doing a virtual classroom, they can do it, and the rest of the class can prepare questions to ask the presenter. Another strategy. This way, it's going to be collaboration and communication at the same time. Just shooting a video, sending it as a task or a homework, or doing in the classroom. They can take their posters and they can start presenting it, or they can shoot a video straight. Okay, another nice idea is, are we spending too much time on our mobile phones? Why? Maybe they can do even a mind map and present it in the classroom. Let's not forget every single opportunity that we have to get our students to produce something on their own and get them to vocalize things is a big advantage. And let's not miss that out. I know that you're all great teachers. I know that you're amazing teachers, but let's use every single opportunity to our advantage. Okay, now, I was saying that, remember the thing I was saying about which time does it refer to? I'm playing tennis. Okay. When we introduce something, anything new about grammar, about this or that, just presentation, practice, and production. So to, let's say, impede of creating any conflict, we need to get them to create something on their own. On top of everything, we're building a building over here, and we need every layer of that building to be solid and strong. So after everything you teach, every single thing, give them a little task, give them a little project, give them something that they can produce something and personalize it. Okay, let's think that you have taught think. Clearly it says over here, when think means believe or have an opinion, we do not use the continues. Fantastic. When think means consider, The continuous is possible. Okay, fantastic. You've taught this. They did the practice. Fabulous. Okay, chase it with a production bit and personalized production bit. Normally this was going to animate, but still no problem. What is she thinking? Give them a picture. What is she thinking? What does she think of the lake? When we give these two separate sentences, they can, by looking at it, understand the difference. Or don't stop yourself, give them a questionnaire and give them a guessing activity. What is your best friend thinking? Get them to write some examples. Get them to write some sentences. You're thinking of the exam. You're thinking of this and that. Or another type, what does your best friend think of you? You think I'm a great friend. You think I'm brilliant. You see what I mean? And get them to go and check by asking an answer. We're talking about communication. This is a perfect opportunity for your students to get together and ask an answer. As I said, every single bit of every single bit of opportunity that you get, use it to your advantage. Moving on. Okay, now we're going to do a little activity. Think about it. You introduced see, hear, smell, taste, look, and feel in the classroom. Fantastic. Now, it's not very easy sometimes to practice these kind of things in the classroom. You can even do it virtually like we're going to be doing right now. What I want you to do is just take a look at this lovely park picture. The topic is walk in the park. Now, what I want you to do is close your eyes. Everyone, really, just listen to my voice and close your eyes. Take in that beautiful picture and close your eyes. Give it a try. Give it a try. It's a really nice activity, and I'm going to explain why is it so important. Please, please, please take the moment, take the chance and close your eyes. Just listen to my voice. The only thing, and when I want you to, or like, let's say, when the time is up, I'll just say, open your eyes, and you will open your eyes. Please walk with me in this activity. Close your eyes, everyone. We're starting. You're walking in this beautiful park. It's green, and sun is shining on your face. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Turn to yourself, look at your senses. How do you feel? People are sitting on the banks and enjoying the relaxing weather. You look at the trees, and what do you see? What colors do you see? Are they bright or dim? Take in the moment. Enjoy the moment. You walk a little bit more, and what do you smell? Sniff and take it in again. You're walking to buy cotton candy. You're taking a bite from the cotton candy. How does it taste? Now how do you feel? You sit on a bank and start watching the sky, and all of a sudden you hear something. What do you hear? Take it in a moment. Look around. Feel your senses. Now open your eyes, please. I don't know if you have done it. Come on. I mean, I hope you did it. Okay. Now, this was an NLP activity. I'm going to explain it. Now, what I want you to do is, I'm going to read it again. I'm just going to read the same text again. I just want you to write down your answers. Just write down your answers. This is more like an experimental method. I have done it with a lot of students. Works like a charm. Now I'm going to read it again. When you hear the question, just write down your answers. That's all. That's all. Okay? Okay. reading it one more time. A walk in the park. You're walking in this beautiful park. Oh, by the way, sorry, my bad. I just want you to rewind the video. Whatever you have experienced when you close your eyes, I just want you to take it to the beginning. And the more I walk you through, the more I want you to go into the memory, just step by step. Like, like you're watching a video again, or like a movie again. All right? Sorry about that. All right. A walk in the park. You're walking in this beautiful park. It's green and the sun is shining on your face. How are you feeling? Please write down your answers. People are sitting on the banks and enjoying the relaxing weather. You look at the trees. What do you see? What colors do you see? Are they bright or dim? You walk a little bit more, and what do you smell? You're walking to buy cotton candy. You're taking a bite from the cotton candy. How does it taste? Now, how are you feeling? You sit on a bank and start watching the sky, and all of a sudden you hear something. What do you hear? Now, you're going to be saying, Ellie, why are we doing this activity? I can hear you saying it. Okay. Now, this is an NLP activity. It's a submodality activity. The more you integrate your senses, the stronger the learning happens, the more rooted we say. I've done it with a lot of students, and triggering the senses, using the senses in the lesson, even you're not seeing it or even you're not smelling it, still you can recall. Like this is an activity more like, I bet there's a scent in your life, a scent that triggers many memories. It can be freshly cut grass, coconut oil, or freshly baked cookies or pie. When you just like you call that memory, and everything, every single detail comes with it, and very vivid. You see what I mean? So why not using it to our advantage? When I was doing this activity, I was more like, okay, I'm going to show you the cotton candy, but the barking, I have this Jack Russell Terrier in my mind. Okay, NLP Submodalities. And you can do it in distance learning. You can record your voice. You can send it to your students. Now you're going to say, Allie, why did we write these things down? Okay, I'm just going to say, do this activity. You're going to be having the script. I think you are. Or I'm going to make sure you're going to have it. No worries about that. Just do it again. And when you do it, you will see you will come up with the same answers because you're going to be rewinding the video again. When you see this this visual over here, the park, everything with a snap of the finger is going to come back to you. Every single thing. You can do a month later. Again, when you look at this visual and start reading the text, you're going to be having everything because you're anchoring it. The park, the greenness and everything, it's an anchor. And when you want to recall this memory with the snap of the finger, you can just say, if you're doing it with your students, you can say, do you remember the cotton candy activity? Or do you remember the park activity? They will recall. I've done many things around it with 4-year-olds, with university students, with high school students. You can easily recall the memory by using the senses. But the only thing, you need to anchor it. You say, do you remember the thing? And trust me, if you do this activity a month later, you will be recalling every single detail that we did today. All right, give it a try and send me an email about it, please. All right. NLP submodalities. The mental rehearsal makes the speaking part of the activity flow a lot better. It also encourages learners to process the story through multiple sensory modalities. They think about what they see, hear, and feel. Don't forget, whatever you're teaching, you can teach vocabulary around it, you can teach grammar, you can link everything, and it works like a charm, trust me. And this is from Mind's Eye. And I will be sharing all the references if you want to further the research or if you want to further the studies. Okay, let's think about it. We're teaching present continuous and present simple. Now, you might be asking me, why am I emphasizing present simple and present continuous this much? I did a little questionnaire, which I'm not going to be sharing the results. I asked my German English teachers to fill out a form for me. And I was asking majorly about what are German students tackling around when it comes to grammar. And some of the answers were present continuous because, because of cultural differences and everything. I was like, okay, so I'm going to be, and plus it's one of the basic tenses. And you can change any activity you see into present perfect, this activity, or past simple, or future tense, anything. But it's the basic, it is the simplest, and it's something that most of the students tackle with. All right. Now, this is an activity where I wish we could have do it in an ideal world. I wish we were face to face. We were doing it in a conference hall. I would be modeling a lot of things, but unfortunately, we're doing the distance learning, which you can do in your classes as well. Okay, we call it expanding the story. Start the class off with a short sentence. So you're the teacher, you go out and yes, you say, it's a beautiful day and I'm dining at a nice restaurant. Okay. The first student must then make a sentence that continues on from the first one. For example, I hear a scream, I hear a scary noise coming from behind a tree. Okay. And the second student then continues, students need to concentrate so as not to lose the thread of the story and make sure their contribution is logical and coherent. So I've done this again with a lot of students, even with, oopsie daisy, with online teaching. Now, the nice thing over here is you start off with a sentence, you can pick students. You can say, I want to have 10 students, and the next round I'm going to have another 10 students. Start off. Get them to extend it. Get them to expand it. Get them to enjoy it. Creating a story is a great activity, and it is very good for, let's say, rehearsing the language. It's an easy way of rehearsing the language without noticing students start using the language. Please try it, and you can do it virtually as well. Or you can even give them a task. You can say 10 students come together, create the story, and send it to me. Send it as a video. Or next day, present it to me. There you go. Or present it to us, the class, and me. Okay. Another very important thing. Why am I saying everything is important? I don't understand, but I love saying they're important. Read and complete the story. Okay. Now, students have to see how and where the grammar is used in the best way. So they can take it, they can adapt it, and they can use it in their real lives. This is a very easy activity. I don't know if you have used Padlet. You can create this kind of things on Padlet. Write an example story and then write the names of your students. Get your students to come over here and fill out the story. They're going to be looking at each other's answers, which is really nice because they're going to be learning from each other. That is one of the most important things. Okay, this is an article start. This is that I got from Preliminary for Students exam handbook. As you can see, there is a sample over here. What makes you laugh? What do you find funny? Do you enjoy laughing with? Who do you enjoy laughing with? Do you think it's good to laugh a lot? Why? Okay, by the way, I'm dyslexic. Okay, so what did we do over here? I found this idea from the preliminary school handbook. And I put the best example. The sample is written by a student. And students will come over here and write their ideas. Why did I put the best example? Why did I put the best sample? Because I want them to steal the ideas by looking at the best example. So another distance learning activity that you can do while they can practice the language, they can further the language, and they can enjoy it, and which is great for their academic life as well. Okay, now we're going to be talking about form. We said meaning and form. Okay, form is one of the most important things when it comes to grammar. This refers to the mechanism of the language, either in the terms of grammar or vocabulary. With regards to grammar, students must understand the sentence structure of a specific grammar rule. Now, I'm going to be saying, why is it this important? Because I always say, if you can't win an argument, correct their grammar instead. It is a very important weapon. It's a very important thing. If you know the form, then everything is easier. Okay, normally this was a nice activity, when the nice slide. This is the formula behind grammar. But I'm going to be saying, word order is crucial in English. You're going to be saying, well, word order is crucial in German as well. Yes, it is. But over here, we're focusing in English. Okay. Present continuous. The form is introduced clearly. And what kind of activity can we do in the classroom to practice for? A competition version, I say. Put your students in pairs. Have 2 separate rooms. You can do it face-to-face or you could do it online. Now we're doing the online lesson, so have 2 separate chat rooms or breakout rooms. Give the same jumbled words to your students. Deliver moment, Act A is the alley session. Give them the same time. Put them in different rooms. 2 students, 2 students. The first ones who come out of the room with the right answer will be the winner. Think about it if you do it a couple of times. And of course, self-assessment is crucial. You give them the answer and students do self-assessment or peer assessment. Sorry about that. Okay, the different version of this activity. Put your students in groups depending on word count. Have 2 separate rooms, give every student a word. And it's going to look something like that. You're going to be having your PDFs. Don't worry about it. It's clear and much better. Just because we're using Adobe, we had this kind of a, let's say, glitch. Okay. Give every student a word and create the groups according to the number of the students. And again, put them into chat rooms or breakout rooms. And the first one who comes with the right answer will be the winner. And of course, most important thing, self-assessment and peer assessment. Now, let's say increasing the challenge. This sentence is for you, everyone. I'm going to give you a minute. Who can come up with the correct answer? There's only one full stop at the very end. No commas. One sentence. Come on. Write your answers down. I think it has been a minute. Okay, normally I was going to ask you to write in the chat box or the technical question box, but I'm going to give you the answers so you will do your self-assessment. Let's see what's going to happen. I bet most of you, all of you, are giving yourself a pat on the shoulder and saying, I did a great job. Okay, so I'm going to skip the last activity, and thank you very much. If for further details or further references, you can take a look at the list. Thank you so much.